want to slow this one down. If the first video was why I decided to hit record, this one's more about how I actually ended up here. Because from the outside, my life probably looks a little scattered. Marketing, photography, videography, military school, a roofing company, family, kids, air traffic controller. But from the inside, it makes a lot more sense. For most of my adult life, I worked in air traffic control. That wasn't a phase. It wasn't something I fell into. I grew up in an aviation family. By the time I was 14, I knew I wanted to be an air traffic controller. I went to college specifically for air traffic management and earned my degree. Went straight into the FAA. That was the plan. And for a long time, it worked. Air traffic is a world built on structure. You don't get to improvise. You don't get to be distracted. Fairly early in my career, I was promoted to operations supervisor, still working traffic, but also responsible for the other controllers in my facility. That kind of responsibility changes how you think. You're not just doing a job, you're accountable for outcomes. And I fully expected that to be my career for life. While that was happening, photography slowly entered, not as a business, not as an exit plan, just as something that helped me slow down. Taught me how to notice moments instead of rushing past them, how to pay attention. Over time, that turned into real work, covering events, telling stories, being trusted with moments that mattered. But even then, photography wasn't an escape from responsibility. It was just another way of carrying it. But the biggest shift in my life didn't start with a career decision. It started with loss. I lost my first wife to terminal illness in 2019. That kind of loss changes how you see time, changes what feels urgent, strips away a lot of things that don't actually matter. Life slowed down in ways I didn't choose, and that space forced a lot of reflection. And sometime after that, Ashley and I reconnected. She was my best friend in high school. We went our separate directions. We built full lives on our own. And when we came back into each other's lives, it wasn't rushed. It wasn't dramatic. It was steady. It was right. And over time, we built something real together, a partnership. Ashley had spent years working in the roofing industry, in sales, seeing how other companies were run and how often corners were cut. And at one point, I told her very directly, stop making other people rich while watching them do it the wrong way. You know how to build this better. Build it your way. And in 2021, she did. She started Always Forward Roofing. And here's the part people don't usually see. We started AFR while we were pregnant with our son, Peyton. Against my wishes and the doctor's wishes, she was still climbing roofs, doing inspections, building relationships, laying the foundation for a business she believed in while carrying our child. It wasn't reckless. That was conviction. I admire her. Watching her do that with discipline, grit, and zero shortcuts completely reshaped what I believed was possible, not just in business, in partnership. As AFR grew, so did our stability. I stepped into marketing and management to help her out, decision-making, systems, not as a side project, but as something we were building together. Mostly her. That stability is what eventually made a bigger transition possible. Around that same time, we were navigating school decisions with our kids. Our oldest son, Parker, has ADHD. He did okay in public school. He wasn't struggling academically, but large class sizes meant he wasn't getting the focus and attention he needed. Ashley started looking for alternatives, not because public school was bad, but because Parker needed something different. That's when she found Oak Ridge Military Academy. We visited. Parker loved it immediately, and almost right away started thriving. About a year later, our second son, Palmer, came to us and asked if he could go too. Palmer was doing fine in public school, no issues. But he watched Parker and saw how much fun he was having, the structure and the activities, the environment, and he wanted that too. So we let him try camp. He loved it, and soon after, he wanted to join full-time as a student. And now in the third year at Oak Ridge, our daughter Haley came to us. She was a great student, strong athlete, doing well in public school. But she was tired of the drama, the reckless behavior, the constant distractions of other kids. She wanted something calmer, more focused, more intentional. So she asked to go to Orma as well. Now all three of them are there, each for different reasons, and all thriving in their own ways. We have another daughter, Brooklyn, who's doing great in public school and is thriving in her athletics and is perfectly happy staying where she is. From the very beginning, we were parents first. I started helping with photography at Orma simply because I was already there, and I was doing photography, real estate photography, full-time, as well as helping with AFR. But I was there for my kids, documenting ceremonies, events, athletics. I've been doing it for 3 years that Parker's been there, not as a job, just because the stories mattered, and I enjoyed being able to provide those memories, especially for a lot of families who don't live locally and can't be there to attend the day-to-day. And over time, I became friends with the director of admissions, and we started talking about storytelling and marketing, about how Oak Ridge presents itself and how to show what the school actually feels like. That turned into a few marketing videos. Those conversations eventually led to a discussion with the president of Orma, and in September they offered me the role of director of marketing full-time. It wasn't something I chased. It grew out of trust, relationships, and years of showing up. One thing that became really clear to me once we were part of Orma was how misunderstood military schools still are. A lot of people, especially my generation, millennials, we grew up with the idea that military school was punishment, something you got threatened with when you were in trouble, something joked about in movies in the 90s. If you didn't behave, we're sending you to military school. I bet every millennial's heard that. The narrative stuck around way longer than it should have. What we've seen at Orma is the exact opposite. Oak Ridge isn't about fixing bad kids. It's about structure, accountability, consistency, small class sizes. It's a place where kids are known, supported, challenged. A place where they mature, not because they're punished, but because expectations are clear and support is real. Our kids didn't go there because they were in trouble. They went there because we wanted better focus, stronger academics, clearer expectations, and an environment that helped them grow with confidence, whether they ever joined the military or not. So when Orma offered me the role of director of marketing, my mission was already clear. I don't want to sell fear. I don't want to lean into outdated stereotypes. I want people to understand that Oak Ridge Military Academy is simply a great academic choice, a structured environment where kids can grow and mature and figure out who they are. By that point, everything had converged for me personally: photography, videography, marketing, leadership. And with Ashley running AFR successfully and us building stability together, I was able to step away from air traffic control, not impulsively, not recklessly, intentionally. And this video is not about Orma, but that is a big part of my life, that's where I work, and 3 out of 5 of my kids are there. At home, our life is full. We're raising 5 kids, a blended family. We also have 1 son together, Peyton. He's autistic, and he's the happiest, sweetest kid you can imagine. Raising him has reshaped how we define progress, patience, presence. It slowed me down in a really good way. When people ask what I do now, the honest answer is I build things with people I care about. I tell stories that matter. I lead when I'm needed. And I try to stay present for the life that we're building. That's what this channel is really about. Forward Focus isn't a pivot. It's just a place to connect the dots between where I've been, where I am now, where I'm going, about partnership, responsibility, growth, and finding meaning in everyday work and family life. If your life feels layered, if you had to pivot without losing yourself, if you're building something alongside someone else, I see you. I'm still figuring it out. This is Forward Focus.